హలో ఫ్రెండ్స్, వెల్కమ్ టు మనీ పవర్స్. లెట్స్ లెర్న్ సంథింగ్ న్యూ టుడే. ఈ ఐడియా ఫోర్జ్ ఐపీఓ ఏదైతే వస్తుందో, ఈ ఐపీఓ రిలేటెడ్గా మార్కెట్లో అయితే చాలా పాజిటివ్ బజ్జే ఉన్నది. సో ఈ పాజిటివ్ బజ్తో పాటు కొన్ని నెగిటివ్ డేటా కూడా సర్క్యులేట్ అవుతుంది కదా. సో దీని రిలేటెడ్గా యాక్చువల్లీ మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేసి క్వశ్చన్స్ అడిగినట్టయితే మనకు ఒక క్లారిటీ వస్తుందని చెప్పి మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ అయితే చేశాను. ఇంటర్వ్యూలోనే యాక్చువల్లీ మనకి ఏవైతే డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయో, మీకు ఐపీఓ వీడియోలో చాలా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కవర్ చేశాను కదా. ఆ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కవర్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఏవైతే డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయో దాని రిలేటెడ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ అన్నింటినీ మేనేజ్మెంట్ అడిగాను. చాలా డీటెయిల్గా ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ అయితే ఇచ్చారు వాళ్ళు కూడా ఓపెన్గా. వీడియోని చూడండి, మీకు ఒక క్లారిటీ అయితే వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడు ఈ ఐపీఓకి ఏదైతే పాజిటివ్ బజ్ కనబడుతుందో, ఇదే బజ్ మనకి చివరి వరకు కంటిన్యూ అయినట్టయితే డెఫినెట్లీ మనకి లిస్టింగ్లో గెయిన్స్ వచ్చే ఛాన్స్ కూడా ఉంటుంది. కాబట్టి ఒక క్లారిటీ ఉంటే ఒక కాన్ఫిడెన్స్తో మనం డెసిషన్ తీసుకోవచ్చు కదా. సో అందు గురించి వీడియో అయితే హెల్ప్ఫుల్ అవుతుంది. వీడియోని చివరి వరకు చూడండి. అండ్ వీడియో చూస్తున్నప్పుడు మీకు ఇలాంటి కంటెంట్ మీ ముందు తీసుకురావడానికి మన టీం ఏదైతే ఎఫర్ట్ పెడుతుందో బ్యాక్ టు బ్యాక్, అది నచ్చినట్టయితే వీడియోని తప్పకుండా లైక్ చేయండి. అండ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్కి మన లాంగ్వేజ్ రాదు కాబట్టి ఇంటర్వ్యూ ఇంగ్లీష్లో ఉంటుంది. ఎవరికైతే తెలుగులో ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ కావాలో వీడియో చివరిలో నేను తెలుగులో సమ్మరైజ్ చేస్తాను. సో మీరు ఆ సమ్మరీ చూసినట్టయితే మీకు అర్థమైపోతుంది. లెట్ మీ ప్లే ద ఇంటర్వ్యూ నౌ. థ్యాంక్స్ అ లాట్ ఫర్ గివింగ్ us time. We have close to 1.5 million investors. Basically, most of them are investors. For them, it is tough to understand businesses. First, actually, whenever I do management interview, I ask management to brief about the business model first. Before you start it, let me give a fair disclosure. This video, we don't have any commercial interest with Idea Forge. I'm doing this interview so that investors will get that complete info about the company. You can start briefing about the company. So after that, I have few questions.
Sure. So, Sai, Idea Forge has origins way back to, the time that me and my co-promoters spent at IIT Bombay. And the first time we came across wanting to build a drone was actually when one of my promoters, Rahul, he came up to me and he said that I want to make a hovercraft and float it in the Powai Lake next to our campus. So, it was a fascinating idea in those early days back in 2004. And I also got quite hooked onto it. And we decided that let's make an innovative hovercraft or helicopter. And that's when we independently came up with a quadcopter concept where there are 4 rotors and it can take off and land like a helicopter without having the complexity of the mechanisms that a helicopter has. So that's how we got fascinated, and we built our first prototype for a college fest in 2004. Then from then till 2008, we were having fun with the technology. We were using it as a means for sustenance. We started our company in 2007. Myself, Rahul, Ashish, the 3 promoters of the company, we started in 2007. And Vipul, who's also my childhood friend, he joined us in 2008. And since then, we've been building this together. So till 2008, we were doing a lot of projects, trying to sustain ourselves using those projects. But in 2008, what happened was that we got, after helping IIT Bombay in one of the competitions we were participating in together, to secure the pole position alongside some of the top universities in the world, we drew a lot of attention of the labs in the country. And when they saw that we had built our own autopilot, which is the brains that keeps a drone flying on its own without needing the joystick control that you usually have to give when you're doing hobby flying or when somebody is operating it like an RC model. So we got a lot of requests to give them our autopilot so that their UAV programs could be forwarded a little bit further. That's when in 2008 odd time frame, we gave them the world's smallest and lightest autopilot at that time that we had built. And that autopilot essentially paved way for our entry into the drones market. And at the same time in 2008, when 26/11 happened, and we had attacks on the Taj Hotel, where we had helicopters trying to look into the 3rd and 4th floor of the Taj Hotel, we felt like our drones could have done that activity and that job. And that's when we decided that we'll take what our passion has been for this technology and make it into a product that can help our security forces in such situations. Another fun fact, Sai, is that you saw an early prototype of ours in the movie 3 Idiots.
Yeah, in our IPO video, I've covered that. I've released IPO video recently, so I've covered that in the IPO video.
Great to hear that. So 2009, after launching the first VTOL drone in India, we sold the first one in around 2010. And since then, we got busy trying to induct the technology in our forces. And it was not just about delivering the products to them, but it was about operationalizing the products in their midst, right? Because we were very acutely aware that if what we're delivering is not useful, then we will not see that proliferate through their entire scale of operations. So in order to focus on that, we focused a lot on how people are using our drones, whether they are able to use the drones or not. And like I suggested, we were trying to make it for a Jawan, right? So we had to make it autonomous. We had to make it such that it could fly itself, and the operator who's flying it can focus on the mission rather than on flying the drone. So the drone would take care of itself in the air, make sure that it is able to come back if anything is happening with the drone in the air. On the other hand, the operator can focus on the image that is coming from the drone and focus on manipulating the camera to try and get the task that they have signed up for delivered. So for many years, we tried to do that. There were customers who would rather use a drone as party wear rather than use it as workwear. And, once in a while when a VIP is visiting or, there is an incident, they would use a drone. Whereas what we felt was that we built the technology for continuously patrolling. And you don't stop patrolling just because you did not catch the thief last night, right? Similarly, you have to fly a drone and the technology is meant for that continuous use. So there are many customers who would use it sparingly earlier, but now some of them don't even go out of their camps unless a drone has flown before them to give them a view of what's there on the road ahead of them. So that's the kind of operational dedication and commitment we've had with our forces. And because of that, our customers have flown more than 350,000 flights on our systems by now. Almost every 5 minutes, an Idea Forge drone takes off in India and is doing either a security job or is doing a mapping job, which will create land records or property cards for our, population. So that's what we've been up to over the years. And we've had to develop a lot of technology while trying to operationalize the technology, while trying to make it very easy for the user, by trying to make it more reliable. And one of the biggest commitments that we've had to the space has been that we wanted to build high performance drones. We did not want to be, a business where customer tells us that, is there something better available outside? We always wanted to be a company who can go and tell the customer that this is the best that you will find anywhere in the world. And I think that is what our mission has been for many, many years, to build on performance, reliability, and autonomy.
That's really amazing journey.
That's
Because
what
from
we've been
passion
working.
to IPO level, definitely it's not about only investors. I'm sure many viewers will get inspired because yes, people they can build from very good business out of a passion. I'll
Thank
come
you.
back to you, Mr. Ankit. Before that, I have a question for Mr. Vipul. In last 3 years, whatever data I can see in RHP, I see margins everywhere. So, what is the sustainable margin level which, as an investor, I can take that number?
See, while I'm limited by the process to comment anything on the future at this moment right now. Our historical margins have hovered around between 70% to 68% right now for FY23.
Gross margins.
Gross,
margins,
okay. Operating EBITDA margin?
EBITDA margins obviously has hovered between about 40 to 30%. Right now, if you look at our registered EBITDA margins are at 45% for FY23. And from a thought process, the continued development is what we look at, where we can sustain the product portfolio and its advantage in the hands of the customer, which actually gives us a sustained growth. Also helps us retain our margins in whatever opportunities we participate, is what I can say at this limitation of the process itself.
Okay, got it.
Also, Sai, I think overall, it's better to look at the adjusted numbers, because I think FY23 had a larger ESOP chunk than is usual. So therefore, you'll see the numbers looking a little here and there. But I think once you adjust for it, it comes back to the right place, and it all makes sense.
Actually, my next question is that similar ESOP number can we expect in coming years as well?
So there was a larger chunk that got vested this year. This was a relatively very huge chunk that had come in. We don't expect it to continue for the subsequent years. There will be ESOP component that is there as part of our overall remuneration cycle, but the numbers won't be as substantial as they are for FY23.
Okay. And one more thing, I see there are many startups coming up in drone sector, or even listed players also trying to get into this sector, because this is definitely a high growth sector for India, and currently it's a trendy sector now. So, what do you think Idea Forge has moat when a lot of competition coming in? How do you secure your market?
So, Sai, my best analogy for this is the fact that one of the most commoditized markets is the mobile phone market, right?
Hmm.
And within the market, you have the Apples and the Samsungs of the world that command the premium in the market because of technology. And then
Yes.
you have a large
Funding.
list of people who are basically fighting at another completely different level, right? So I think for Idea Forge, it's extremely important to lead with technology. And that's the reason why, over the years, we've been very conscious of building technology, building intellectual property. We have filed over 62 patents, and 25 of those have been granted already to us, not just in India, but across the world. And those patents are also used in our product that we are delivering. So we also received the National Intellectual Property Award in 2020 for basically patents and commercialization as an MSME. So, that is the kind of work we want to do, where we are leading with technology. We are building products that are, superior in terms of performance. They are superior in terms of their ability to survive the real world, sustain heavy duty cycles, and in the end, make sure that the operator's life is as simple as possible. The skill required from the operator is as less as possible, so that operationally also the customer has to bear the lowest possible cost for such an operation. And therefore, as a business, our focus is on total cost of ownership for the customer. And if the total cost of ownership for the customer to do an activity, to do a task is lower, then we believe that we are able to sustain the path that we have carved out for ourselves.
Okay. One question on the unit economics part. If we sell a drone, how the unit economic works? Can you please brief that
Yeah,
part?
so I think for a drone, in our case, if you look at the gross margins, last
Hmm.
couple of years, the gross margins have hovered between close to 70 plus to 65 plus %. And the reason why we are able to enjoy these gross margins is primarily because we have so much vertical integration in technology that the raw materials that we buy for the same technology is actually much at the component level and not at the subsystem level. When you buy whole subsystems that are readily available in the market, then your cost is also higher because the intellectual property of the subsystem manufacturer is embedded in the cost of the system that you're buying. Whereas if you are buying at the component level, then the cost of those components is relatively lower. And when you add your technology layer on top, you are able to essentially create a differentiated offering while enjoying healthy margins as well. So that's the core reason of why we are able to enjoy those gross margins, and that's the unit economics for us.
Okay. Where is Idea Force drone gets manufactured, and what percentage of components we need to depend on import?
Sure. Manufacturing of Idea Forge drones happens in the Mumbai, Mahape area.
Okay. Okay.
That's our single manufacturing unit that is there.
Okay.
Right now, you can say that about 20-25% of our revenue is imports, as also
Imports.
given in the prospectus.
And that
Okay.
is just a fraction of our revenue, and that's the total purchases in the year. That's not
Okay.
the fraction of the bill of materials. That fraction of bill of materials may be different from the purchase percentage.
Okay. How about the battery packs? Where do we
So
get
obviously
battery
the
packs?
cells are imported. We don't have reservoirs in India to get the cells here. But the packs have been designed by Idea Forge. We hold patents also on the configuration of the battery packs as well,
Okay.
specifically to our needs. And we also embed our own, coding as well to extract the maximum from those battery packs.
Okay. We don't have any cell manufacturers in India? Drone cell manufacturers?
India, no, not the kind of energy densities that are needed for drones. That kind of capacity is not available in India at this point in time. I don't think
Okay.
India has a lot of lithium ion cell manufacturers at all. So therefore, that right now is a dependency all of us have to bear with till the time we have factories opening up here for the automotive side.
Okay. I'll ask you 2, 3 uncomfortable questions, but yeah, this need to be addressed because many viewers will have those doubts. One, in RHP, you mentioned that there was a blast happened recently and few people injured. Okay, previously, how many times we saw such occurrences or blasts before? And what's your explanation on this topic?
So, Sai, if you see what we mentioned, right, there have been more than 350,000 operations on our product, right?
Hmm.
This is the first instance of this kind that has come to our notice. And this also, if you look at it, what can be various causes of such incidents? Then one of the things you can say is that, a battery blasting is basically a most notable event. But if there was an external cause of fire, then if a battery catches fire because of that, then that could become an event like that. Or for example, there are storage, maintenance, or operational deficiencies in how it is being dealt with. Or if, let's say, for example, there is physical damage for some reason which has gone unnoticed. Or let's say, for example, there could be other probabilistic internal or external eventualities that can cause something like this. What we have done is we have ensured that immediately we issued a service bulletin reminding our operators, customers about all the safety procedures and safety methods that need to be taken care of while operating the system. It's like many times things can happen. Like if you leave the phone in the sun, then the battery will bulge up, right? So those kind of things happen with the chemistry that we are all working with. And therefore, there has to be a way to protect the system, protect the overall operational scenario. So those service bulletins are issued to customers. We actually are innovating also on the way we train our operators. So we have a micro learning app that we have given to most of our pilots, and they get immediate addition into their learning hub, where they will get to see the service bulletin. They are also quizzed on various ways in which how to safely operate the systems. Plus, wherever required, we have proactively gone ahead and recommended to the customer that they can buy certain protective cases that are available for battery packs, particularly of lithium-ion, lithium polymer nature, so that any such incident can be prevented going forward. But we are proactively addressing it and making sure that there is safety maintained. But like I mentioned, it's one incident in what we have seen over the years, and the real cause is obviously not a very clear path to discovery as well.
Okay, so this is the first incident I can say. Okay, got it. Second, one more thing. In last few days, there is one report circulating in social media extensively. What's your take on it? There are a couple of questions. I've gone through the report. I know I have my view on it, but there are a couple of.
At least on a lighter note, I can say that they have done a far better job of building a book larger than what we could do with RHP. So
No, 60% of it is RHP only, right? They have added.
Yeah.
So yes, I think we are aware of something that is in circulation, and what we know is that we have made all the relevant disclosures at appropriate places wherever required the moment they have come to our notice. And apart from that, I think we do not have any facts that allow us to give credibility to any other claims that are out there.
Okay, and all our drone models got DGCI approval?
Sai, no. We have one model which is DGCI approved presently, and others are in the process that we are looking to offer to our civilian customers to get type certified.
Okay. And currently we are getting majority of the share revenue from the defense sector, right? And even on civil sector, you're focusing right now, and what kind of growth you are expecting from there?
So, we are expecting, so if you look at our revenue split, it is about 70% from defense, 21%, and then we had a 9% component from the PLI incentive that we received. So that's the current split at this point in time, Sai. And that was the FY23 number.
Yeah, so civil expansion, obviously going ahead, there will be considerable efforts. We are also looking at the international presence as well. As you might have read in the prospectus that we are present as a subsidiary in US. There also, our first target would be on the civil side of things. Even in India, we are seeing different use cases opening up on the civil side. If you look at how inspection is getting the traction that we are wanting it to, agri side, obviously, so far it has been more on the spraying side of things. But then, crop monitoring and crop health monitoring, etc., is something that is also likely to see a certain change. So the civil side itself, from a overall use case standpoint, will see a shift. And that will help even us to expand the horizon on the civil side.
Okay. Another thing, Vipul, I see the working capital cycle is too long. Okay. Is there any thought?
That's the gift from the customer. So
Okay.
yeah. So today, obviously, yes, it is at the 300 days cycle. As mentioned in the prospectus, our average would stay around, let's say, 200 days, 190 to 200 days. There will be certain expected measures that will be taken subsequently. But as right now, our envisaged distribution between the customer base is still going to be heavier on the defense side of things. The certain numbers would, I would say, still hover under the 190, 200 days is what we can.
Are we also looking at anti-drone space, or we'll be predominantly sticking to the drone?
No, sorry, not counter drones yet.
Okay.
We'll make them work.
Okay. Okay.
We like them being in air right now, rather than bringing them down.
No, but we have to collaborate with all the counter drone system side, and we are obviously collaborating wherever is essential to make sure that we are part of the whole solution.
Okay. And what is the use case like? Whatever the fresh money we are raising, where are we going to use it?
So user proceeds right now distributed between 50 crores going to repayment of debt, 40 crores in product development, and 135 in working capital.
Okay. Last thing, is there any other interest for promoters other than Idea Forge? Substantial? No substantial interest. Okay. Another thing, in promoter list,
there is none interest, substantial or unsubstantial. For 16 years, we have built this and wanting to build this further.
Okay. And in top 10 shareholders, I can see very big names like Infosys and all. What kind of valuation we get from them?
So, over the years, we have collaborated quite a bit. And, there are certain components that we already use from, our partners. We are working with whoever we can on the enterprise side of the house. So there is a lot of, work that we are doing together. I'm not at liberty to sort of share a lot of that right now because it's not necessarily disclosed. But yes, there are efforts going on in many areas.
Okay. Last thing, from the investor point of view, is there anything left on the table post IPO, and what do you want to say to the investors?
No, I think, if I were to, summarize Idea Forge's journey, Sai, then, we have been the pioneers of this industry, and we have built this off our own technology stack. We have built this with the right fundamentals. We have ensured in our products that we prioritize performance, reliability, and autonomy. And that has led to a product portfolio that offers customers a very good, low total cost of ownership. And we've built it on the fundamentals of being able to deliver the business profitably. And therefore, we've built a very different muscle than what probably, investors may be used to from our kind of young businesses. And therefore, we are quite excited about the next phase of growth in this industry. And we are going to make sure that we live up to the core, fundamentals that we've built this business on over the last 16 years.
ఓకే. ఈ ఇంటర్వ్యూలో కీ టేక్ అవే పాయింట్స్ ఏవైతేనో మీకు ఇప్పుడు బ్రీఫ్గా సమ్మరైజ్ చేసేస్తాను. ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, మార్జిన్స్ రిలేటెడ్గా మనకు ఒక క్లారిటీ అయితే రావట్లేదు. ఎందుకంటే లాస్ట్ 3 years వీళ్ళ నెంబర్స్ చూసినట్టయితే సిగ్నిఫికెంట్లీ వేరీ అవుతున్నాయి కదా. సో మీ మార్జిన్ సస్టైనబుల్ నెంబర్ ఏంటని అడిగినప్పుడు 40 to 30% మార్జిన్ ఏదైతే కనబడుతుందో ఇదైతే మేము మెయింటైన్ చేయడానికి ప్రయత్నిస్తామని చెప్తున్నారు. అండ్ నెక్స్ట్ ఏం అడిగానంటే, లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ వీళ్ళు ఈసాప్ ఎక్స్పెన్స్ చాలా ఎక్కువగా ఉన్నది. దానివల్ల ఓవరాల్గా మనకు ప్రాఫిటబిలిటీ కూడా దాని ప్రీవియస్ ఇయర్తో కంపేర్ చేసినట్టయితే తగ్గింది కదా. ఈసాప్ ఎక్స్పెన్స్ కమింగ్ ఇయర్స్లో కూడా ఇలాగే ఉంటుందా? ఉన్నట్టయితే మళ్ళీ అగైన్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు బి వెరీ కేర్ఫుల్. సో, అందు గురించి అలా అడిగినప్పుడు మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే ఈసాప్ ఎక్స్‌పెన్స్ అయితే ఉంటది. కాకపోతే ఇంత హెవీగా ఉండదని అయితే వాళ్ళు క్లారిటీ ఇచ్చారు. థర్డ్ థింగ్ నేను మీ ప్రొడక్ట్‌కి ఉన్న మోట్ ఏంటి? ఎందుకంటే డ్రోన్ స్పేస్‌లో చాలా కొత్త కాంపిటీషన్ కూడా వస్తుంది. లిస్టెడ్ స్పేస్‌లో ఉన్న కంపెనీసే కాదు, ఈవెన్ అన్‌లిస్టెడ్ స్పేస్‌లో ఉన్న కంపెనీస్ కూడా ఈ సెగ్మెంట్‌లో ఎంటర్ అవుతున్నాయి కదా! సో, కొత్త కాంపిటీషన్ వస్తున్నప్పుడు మీరు మీ మార్కెట్‌ని ఎలా ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటారని అడిగినప్పుడు వీళ్ళు ఏవైతే వీళ్ళ పేటెంట్స్ ఉన్నాయో, టెక్నాలజీ ఎడ్జ్ ఉన్నదో ఆ పేటెంట్స్ యాక్చువల్లీ వీళ్ళకి బిగ్గెస్ట్ పాజిటివ్‌గా అయితే మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఎక్స్‌ప్లనేషన్ ఇచ్చారు. నెక్స్ట్ బ్యాటరీ ప్యాక్స్ రిలేటెడ్‌గా మీకు బ్యాటరీ ప్యాక్స్ ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తాయి, ఎవరు సప్లై చేస్తారన్నప్పుడు బ్యాటరీ ప్యాక్స్ అయితే మేము తయారు చేసుకుంటాం. బట్ సెల్స్ మాత్రం ఇంపోర్ట్ చేసుకుంటాం. ఎందుకంటే సెల్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరర్స్ ఇండియాలో లేరు కాబట్టి. అండ్ దాని సాఫ్ట్‌వేర్ రిలేటెడ్ వర్క్ అంతా మేమే చేసుకుంటాం అని చెప్పారు. నెక్స్ట్ వీళ్ళు డ్రోన్స్ ఎక్కడ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చర్ అవుతాయని అడిగినప్పుడు ముంబైలో వాళ్ళ ప్లాంట్ ఏదైతే ఉందో సింగిల్ ప్లాంట్ ఉందో ఆ ప్లాంట్‌లో మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చర్ చేస్తున్నట్టుగా. నెక్స్ట్ నేను మేనేజ్మెంట్‌ని యాక్చువల్లీ కొన్ని అన్‌కంఫర్టబుల్ క్వెషన్స్ కూడా అడిగాను. ఎందుకంటే ఇవి మనకి క్లారిటీ రావడం కూడా ఇంపార్టెంట్ కాబట్టి. ఒకటి రీసెంట్‌గా వీళ్ళు డ్రోన్ బ్లాస్ట్ ఏదైతే జరిగిందో దాని రిలేటెడ్‌గా ప్రతిసారి ఇలాంటి బ్లాస్టులు జరిగాయనుకోండి ఇట్ విల్ ఇంపాక్ట్ రైట్. అండ్ ప్రీవియస్‌గా ఎన్నిసార్లు అయ్యాయో కూడా మనకు తెలియదు. సో, వీళ్ళని ప్రీవియస్‌గా ఎన్నిసార్లు అయ్యాయని అడిగినప్పుడు వాళ్ళు చెప్పిన ఆన్సర్ ఏంటంటే ఇది ఫస్ట్ టైమ్ అయింది. అండ్ ఈ డ్రోన్ బ్లాస్ట్ రిలేటెడ్‌గా కూడా క్లారిటీ అడిగినప్పుడు వాళ్ళు చెప్తున్నది ఏంటంటే మేము ఇంకా ఇన్వెస్టిగేట్ చేస్తున్నాం. పర్ఫెక్ట్ క్లారిటీ అయితే లేదు. ఎందుకంటే జనరల్లీ ఇంత పెద్ద బ్లాస్టులు జరిగే ఆస్కారం తక్కువ. యాక్చువల్లీ అన్లెస్ బయట నుంచి ఫైర్ దానికి క్యాచ్ చేసే తప్పించి ఈ ఇన్సిడెంట్ తర్వాత మా పైలట్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉంటారో వాళ్ళకి వేరే సేఫ్టీ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్ అయితే వీళ్ళు ఇష్యూ చేసినట్టుగా అయితే చెప్తున్నారు. నెక్స్ట్ ఒక రిపోర్ట్ ఏదైతే సర్క్యులేట్ అవుతుందో సోషల్ మీడియాలో వీళ్ళు రిలేటెడ్‌గా వేరియస్ డేటా అనేది యాడ్ చేసి దాని రిలేటెడ్‌గా అడిగినప్పుడు వీళ్ళు ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఒక కామెంటరీ మేము ఏదైతే డిస్క్లోజ్ చేయాలో రెగ్యులేటర్స్‌కి ఫెయిర్ డిస్క్లోజర్స్ అన్నీ మేము చేసాం. మేమేవి హైడ్ చేయలేదని వాళ్ళు మెన్షన్ చేస్తున్నారు. నెక్స్ట్ డీజీసీఐ అప్రూవల్స్ మీ డ్రోన్స్ అన్నిటికి ఉన్నాయని అడిగినప్పుడు వాళ్ళు ఒక్క డ్రోన్‌కే ఉన్నది. మిగిలిన వాటికి ఇంకా అప్లై చేసినట్టుగా చెప్తున్నారు. అండ్ నెక్స్ట్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ నేను ఏమడిగానంటే బేసికల్లీ వీళ్ళు మేజర్‌లీ డిఫెన్స్‌కి సప్లై చేస్తున్నారు కదా! దీనివల్ల వీళ్ళు వర్కింగ్ క్యాపిటల్ సైకిల్ చూసినట్టే చాలా లాంగ్ ఉన్నది. ఇంత లాంగ్ వర్కింగ్ క్యాపిటల్ సైకిల్ కంటిన్యూ అవుతుందా అని అడిగినప్పుడు వాళ్ళు ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే 190 నుంచి 200 డేస్ మధ్యలో వర్కింగ్ క్యాపిటల్ సైకిల్ అయితే ఉంటది. ఎందుకంటే మేము క్యాటర్ చేసిన కస్టమర్స్ అలాంటి వాళ్ళు డెఫినెట్‌లీ గవర్నమెంట్‌కి సప్లై చేసినప్పుడు అంత లాంగ్ అయితే ఉంటుంది. సో, ఇదే వర్కింగ్ క్యాపిటల్ సైకిల్ అయితే కంటిన్యూ అవ్వచ్చు వెళ్ళి. సో, ఇదైతే రెడ్యూస్ అవ్వదు ఇమీడియట్‌గానే మనకు ఒక క్లారిటీ అయితే వచ్చింది. నెక్స్ట్ సివిల్ సెక్టర్ రిలేటెడ్‌గా కూడా వీళ్ళు ఫోకస్ చేయబోతున్నట్టుగా చెప్తున్నారు. ఇక్కడ యాక్చువల్లీ వీళ్ళకి డబ్బులు కొంచెం ముందే వచ్చే స్కోప్ ఉంటుంది. బట్ డిఫెన్స్ రిలేటెడ్‌గా వీళ్ళు గ్రోత్ చూస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి వీళ్ళు వర్కింగ్ క్యాపిటల్ సైకిల్ అయితే ఇలాగే కంటిన్యూ అవుతుందని మనం అర్థం చేసుకోవచ్చు. చివరిగా నేను మీరు డ్రోన్ సెక్టర్ మాత్రమే కాకుండా యాంటీ డ్రోన్ వైపు కూడా ఏమైనా చూస్తున్నారని అడిగినప్పుడు లేదు యాంటీ డ్రోన్ వైపు అయితే చూడలేదని మేనేజ్మెంట్ అయితే క్లారిటీ ఇచ్చారు. సో, ఇంటర్వ్యూలోని మేజర్లీ నాకు ఏవైతే డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయో అంటే ఆర్హెచ్‌పి చదివిన తర్వాత బిజినెస్‌ని అర్థం చేసుకున్న తర్వాత ఏవైతే డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయో అవన్నీ మేనేజ్మెంట్‌ని అయితే అడిగాను. సో దట్ మీకు కూడా ఈ క్లారిటీ వచ్చినట్టయితే కొంతవరకు హెల్ప్‌ఫుల్ అవుతుందని నాకైతే ఒక క్లారిటీ అయితే వచ్చింది. హోప్ ఈ వీడియో ద్వారా మీకు ఏదైతే ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ షేర్ చేసానో అది నచ్చిందని అనుకున్నా. నచ్చి ఇప్పటివరకు వీడియోని లైక్ చేయనట్టయితే వీడియోని తప్పకుండా లైక్ చేయండి. అండ్ మీ ఫ్రెండ్స్ అండ్ ఫ్యామిలీ మెంబర్స్‌కి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ హెల్ప్‌ఫుల్ అవుతుందంటే వాళ్ళకి షేర్ చేయండి. నేను సాయికృష్ణ పత్రి మరొక ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ వీడియోతో మీ ముందుకు వస్తాను. మీరు ఇంతవరకు ఐపీఓ వీడియో చూడనట్టయితే ఈ ఐడియా ఫోర్జ్ ఐపీఓ ఫుల్ ఫ్లెడ్జ్డ్ వీడియో ఏదైతే ఉందో ఇక్కడ వెనకాల వస్తుంది. మిస్ అవ్వకుండా చూడండి. బై బై. నెక్స్ట్ టైం కలుద్దాం.